Hey guys, what? Ow! What? Hey guys, what's up? Steve Jensen here, aka Skubert YTP. Just wanted to tell you guys what was going on. And right now, as you all know, what's going on is that the year 2012 is coming to a close. The day that I am filming this video on is the day before New Year's Eve. And you know what that means. It means that everybody's talking about what their New Year's Eve and New Year's Day plans are going to be and how they're going to be partying and staying up until ungodly hours and drinking their asses off and the whole shebang. And because it's so close, people have been asking me, "Hey Steve, what are you going to do on New Year's Eve?" And on this New Year's Eve, my response is going to be very simple. Nothing. As it turns out, this year, and next year, I guess you could say, on New Year's Eve, I have to work until 9 o'clock at night, and I have to be at work on New Year's Day by 8 o'clock in the morning. That doesn't really leave much of a time frame to do any New Year's Eve type of activities. But honestly, I can't complain about this because, hey, this week I'm getting a few more hours in than I usually do. Cha-ching! And the extra money will help with paying for school. Because this year I kind of have a slightly larger tuition bill to pay because I forgot to apply for a certain grant that I probably would have gotten if I would have applied for it in time. But I forgot, like a dumbass. You know what? Forget the phrase like a boss. For me it's like a dumbass. Let's try saying it, shall we? Forgetting to apply for a certain grant, like a dumbass. Waiting until a week before Christmas to start Christmas shopping, like a dumbass. Riding a bicycle at full speed down a 35-degree hill that's about a fifth of a mile long that leads into Rockdale, into a fairly busy intersection, like a dumbass. No, I'm just kidding. I definitely did not do that last one because I want to live a little longer, which if you do that, you will probably die, so don't try it. I don't want to die yet. I'm kind of addicted to breathing. I just can't seem to stop. If you guys know what kind of Addicted to Breathing is from, the movie that's from, it's from the 80s, but if you know what movie that's from, good for you. You get some brownie points. Anyway, I'm getting a little off topic. What I really wanted to talk to you guys about today is being optimistic about how the year 2012 went. For me, there were some bad things that happened, but they were kind of leveled off by some pretty good things that happened. And I'd like to share with you guys some of those things. So, a lot of people like to hear bad news first, so let's start off with some of the bad things that happened. Well, things that weren't as good. 2012 was a presidential election year, and we had to hear a bunch of bullcrap about who was doing what and what a certain corrupt politician would do for another person, and a bunch of just bull. And it got to the point where it got really annoying. So that wasn't exactly the greatest thing ever. Another kind of crappy thing that happened is that Hostess went out of business. No more Twinkies! Woody Harrelson's character in Zombieland would probably be crying his eyes out right now. And now for some things that kind of went down in my life personally. School was extremely stressful. I mean, school and working, which can cause, like, social life to just go... And those of you who watch my videos on a regular basis probably know this by heart now, but earlier this year, in April, I ended up getting the tip of my middle finger smashed off. Yeah, this tip you're seeing right now is like skin from another part of my body. It's not what was originally the tip of my middle finger. And because I basically didn't have a hand for like a month, I could only use my left hand, and I could not use my right hand for anything because it was inside this really weird cast. And even after I got the cast taken off, it took me forever to regain sensation in my hand because it had been immobile for so long. Let's just say it was a very slow process of healing. Not to mention that because I was in this sort of situation, I was basically unable to do a lot of different things. But you know what? That's one of the things that definitely leads me to the next section of this video, which is the good things that basically level off the bad things that happened this year. Even though this whole finger situation was very painful and a really huge ordeal to go through, I was able to basically reconstruct my finger. And basically now you can barely even tell that anything happened to it. Yeah, just for your information, the skin that's right here is actually from here. You can see the scar. I'm not sure if you can see it. And the skin that goes in here is actually from, like, an area in my hip. And I have a giant scar there, too. But instead of hip, the doctor referred to it as the groin. So if I touch you with the palm of my hand, I'm kind of touching you with my groin. So, moving on. Another really good thing that happened this year is that I turned 21 years old. For a huge portion of 2012, I was 20, which is like the no man's land of ages. When you're 20, you're not a teenager, but by a lot of people's standards, you're not an adult either, so you're just stuck in that, like, wasteland of 20. But now I'm 21, which means technically I'm an adult. An adult Steve. Whoa. Another really cool thing that happened this year that kind of counters the stress of school and work is that, number one, I ended up getting a second part-time job, which wasn't really a very stressful part-time job because it was at my school and it was only 5 hours a week. Not only that, but this other part-time job actually relates to my field of study, which is computer science. And this part-time job, as opposed to my other job, actually kind of helps me focus on my area of study. Not saying my other job is a bad one, but I don't really see myself working at this other job that I've had for almost 4 years in the distant future. Getting this extra job was actually a good thing. Not only that, but the hard work that I ended up doing in school paid off because I ended up getting A's and B's at the end of the semester. Mostly A's. And one of the really, really cool things that happened this year is that I ended up meeting a whole bunch of people who are just awesome. These are people who I probably never would have met if I would never have gone to school or applied for these jobs that I ended up getting. And combining that with the finger incident, it helped me realize who was a real friend to me and who wasn't. Oh, and another thing that happened that's actually pretty good, we didn't die on December 21st. Even though I mentioned in a previous video that I really didn't think that anything was going to happen that day anyway. On December 22nd, I really wanted to watch the news because I wanted to see how many people were doing really stupid things. So overall, I'd say that even though some really crummy stuff happened in 2012, the year basically turned out pretty good. There were so many good things that happened that they kind of outweigh the bad things that happened. And even though I'm thinking that a lot of you also have some of those bad things that happened in your life, try and look at it as the good things that happened outweigh the bad things that happened. If you take that kind of approach to how the year went, then you're going to probably have a happier 2013. And you're gonna be looking back and saying, you know, I did alright. Well, anyway, you guys, I hope you have a really great New Year's celebration, whatever you're doing, that you have a happy New Year, and that you guys are all safe and all that good stuff. Anyway, that's all for today. Steve, out.